We have on the line Mahama Hudu. I mean, he's not related to the president in any way. He's an independent person because he works with the executive, with the Center for Energy Research Center. And the Center for Energy Research Institution is a think tank, and they basically do the research as far as energy is concerned and look at how policy issues are also managed in the energy sector. He is the executive director. And Mr. Hudu, thanks for joining us. A very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Roland.
Okay.
And good morning to your viewers.
Okay, and then my partner too.
Kemeni, how are you?
I'm well. How are you too?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hudu, now I'm worried. You seem to be very much familiar. Okay. Now let's talk on the serious subject. And having General Electric coming in to give us additional 1,000 megawatts of power, what does it mean? We should all be happy, shouldn't we?
Of course, it's welcoming news that we are getting additional 1,000 megawatts from General Electric. But then the issue will still not be resolved because, you know, in the industry we have short-term needs, we have a medium-term and then a long-term goals that we are supposed to be looking at. But for now, addition of additional 1,000 megawatts of electricity will only be a welcoming news, but it will not solve our immediate problems that we are facing right now. You know, already we have our problem as at now pertaining to so is not because of capacity. It's because we are not able to generate to meet the. Even we have enough capacity for now, but we are not able to generate electricity to meet the existing capacity. For instance, if you consider Kosombo, for instance, you know we are supposed to be it has capacity of 1,024. But we are not able to generate up to 1,024. It's 900. If you take Tico, Tarco, and then absolutely all of these ones, we are not able to generate. They are not able to meet capacity. So capacity exists for now, but we are not able to generate up to that. So addition of that doesn't solve the problem.
But then, more recently, we're told that we're going to get in excess 700 megawatts from additional investment from Sunon Asogli, and so and then we have some other partnership agreements being considered for some other, you know, independent power producers, etc. That also means that ultimately, in the medium to long term, we should have energy sufficiency.
Of course, yes. You know, what government is looking at now is 5,000 megawatts by end of 2015. So if we are getting all this, I know the two power budgets are also on stream, construction and all that. So it means that we are moving gradually towards that. But for now, I know many Ghanaians, our problem, we are not looking to the future. We are just looking to solve immediate issues before we move into the future. So but for the future is bright. Considering the additions of megawatts that is coming in, is bright for the future. But for now, I don't think we will come out of these issues very soon.
And talking about us not coming out of this issue very soon, it means that for the short-term measures, we've not done adequately well.
Yeah, we need generation rather, not capacity.
What should we have been doing from the last year, and even this year as well? Because 2 years wasted.
Hello?
What should we have been doing from the last year to this year? Because it almost looks like it's 2 years wasted.
Yes, you know, we have distribution losses and we have generation losses. For the past, when you take energy commissions and then Gridco, their report, you realize that we are losing about 18 megawatts for distribution alone and generation about 4.8 megawatts. So when you add this, it's almost about 20 megawatts. So distribution and generation losses are issues that we have to look at. And we also have to look at the meter bypassing. People are doing illegal connection and all those. If you're able to resolve those ones, trace them and then fix them, I think that's what we should be doing. Because we are losing a lot to illegal connections and then distribution losses and generation losses.
Now, with all this talk about the need for us to also make sure that as far as sustenance is concerned, we tend to look at plethora of avenues of energy generation in terms
Come again.
With all the talk about how we need to look at other sources of the energy distribution mix.
Okay.
Where should we be looking at beyond the subject of thermal and the use of the other hydro and other sources that we have?
Yes, you realize that our problem has been about gas supply and all that. You know, South Africa, for instance, has, I think in the whole of Africa, South Africa is a country that generates coal, about 74 metric tons of maybe coal. It ranks about the 7th most exported coal. So we can think about coal because coal is very cheap to export, and then I think it's a reliable and very reliable. So coal is what, for me, we should be looking at. When you also consider along the Volta and the northwest of Accra, we have a wind capacity, about 2,000 megawatts of wind. Even though it's very expensive to plant a wind turbine, but when you get it, I think it's reliable. So wind, and then individually, we can also start looking at solar, maybe individual household. You find people putting expensive glasses, maybe decorating their house and all that. There are some of those ones that are even far expensive than solar blades. So we also have to be looking at solar energy as well, maybe in the individual household and all that.
Well, if that's the advocacy, shouldn't consumers be worried then? Because it means that ultimately, when all these investments are undertaken, the consumers will have to bear the brunt.
The consumers
have to bear the brunt in terms of what the tariffs they have to pay and how incremental they would be in the long term, of course.
Of course, if you are considering, is it in the area of the solar?
In the area of the solar, coal generation, and the other sources that you're talking about. Because, for example, we don't produce coal here. It means that we have to import coal all the way from South Africa or wherever we can get it across the continent. Or yes.
Okay. So you realize that even with gas, we don't, as of now, we don't have gas in Ghana. We export it. Right, through the West African government. So we pay price as well, and all those are factored into the
pricing mix.
Yeah. So it doesn't make exporting of coal is cheap. Is very cheap relative to other gas and then even though gas is also cheap, but compared to coal, I think coal is cheaper.
Okay, so we have to leave you. And Kamini wanted to ask a question, and so I'll give her one.
I'm not even sure if it's so much of a question, but I'll still seek a comment from you. I am not sure how this General Electric plant is going to help us. Yeah, we understand from the story that indeed they are coming with a regasification vessel, which means that we'll manage to be able to store our vessel, our gas here when we import it. But the question is sustainability. We did the same thing with the West African gas pipeline. Look at us today. We can't get the amount of gas we need. Would we be able to continue buying gas to be able to do it, irrespective of General Electric being a private company? This 1,000 megawatts, is it installed capacities or is actually what will be activated for us to get? I'm not sure what you think about it.
Kamene, you realize that our problem is not the West African gas pipeline. Our problem is Nigeria, because the West African gas pipeline doesn't supply gas. It only transports the gas. So Nigeria is the end. And then for the contract, unfortunately, I've not been able to see the contract terms. But they have, to a larger extent, violating because they're supposed to be sending 120 million metric tons of standard gas.
And that's why I am questioning the sustainability of this 1,000 megawatts that's supposed to be fired by gas. How sustainable is this for the Ghanaian people? Do you think this is sustainable? We've seen the experience with gas. I'm not sure what you think, but I have my own reservations about using gas again.
You realize that we need about 3,800 megawatts of electricity right now to be able to for the whole of Ghana. And then we need from West Africa gas pipeline. We contracted to take 120. When we get our own gas supply from Atuabo, it's also expected to take 120. That's what it's also supposed to give us, and other smaller sources. But when you put all this together, it doesn't still meet our need. You see, that's why I'm saying that the addition of that 1,000 is just not for our immediate needs because it's about capacity and not generation. So we need generation. So government should rather be looking at sources or areas that will add generation, increase generation, because we have the existing capacity to be able to meet our immediate needs now. But that's not what government is looking at. Government is interested in adding capacity. So actually, I don't see, if only we are going to be increased capacity and then not looking at generation, I don't see the future.
Okay, so thanks for joining us. And Mahama Hudu, you're not related to the president, are you?
We are coming from one village.
Yeah.
You're coming from one village?
I think he is.
Right.
They've got the resemblance, don't you?
Now I'm frightened. So the research is neutral, right? The institution is neutral.
Neutral, yeah.
All right, don't worry. We're just pulling your legs there. And Mr. Hudu, thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Mahama Hudu is the executive director for the Center for Energy Research. That was very mischievous on your part to be relating him to.
You know, you did that.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, you did.
But we should be worried as far as energy provision is concerned, because the concern is, especially with where I've lived and grown up,
where we both live.
Okay, where we have a lot more people who work in factories in Tema, and now many of the factories have to shut down because they can't get consistent supply of energy. Then it means that we need to have a rethink.
We are even in more trouble.
Consistently for the last 2 years. Personally, I don't see that we're getting a rethink about what the energy strategy and policy should be.
We are even in more trouble because now we have to ration water. The energy situation affects.
As for water.
Now I've closed my mind. Water distribution. So imagine how worsened the situation would be, because already some people were not getting water, and if we have to ration it, I mean, this country needs to sit up when it comes to power producing. If we should look at coal, then I mean, Germany complains. I mean, those are the places where you always hear them about climate change, but they burn coal, they do clean coal. So why are we so afraid to do coal? What's our concern?
Well, so that's where the advocacy is coming from the energy experts, and we're hoping that we can get some positive policy directives on this very initiative.
We're looking forward to it.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking on subjects of national importance on AM Talk. But so far, please get interactive. We have pages on Facebook as well as a handle on Twitter. And on Facebook, we have Joy News on TV, and we have handle on Twitter as well. Handles. I should say handles. What's your handle?
@Kemini. That's it.
Okay, @Kemini on Twitter, and Ro Walker Ghana on Twitter as well. We're taking a break. When we come back.
Do you follow me on Twitter?
I do.
Do I follow you back?
Oh, yes.
But I usually follow back, so follow me.
So I do follow you, really.
Nice.
Yes, I do. And then we're going to have in the studio, and Emmanuel Wilson, Fred Amankwasafo is a member of the MPP, and Emmanuel Wilson is the General Secretary. Did I get it right? No. He's a vice chairperson. Okay, no, the national organizer of the PNC. I shouldn't be forgetting this because he's my good friend. He gave me tea the other day.
He did? Then you're in trouble.
No, I'm not.
He didn't get his rank right.
We didn't discuss politics. It was just friendship. Yeah. Okay, so we're taking a break. When we come back, I
will go get my tea.
All right, we're talking not tea, we're talking issues.